Even though companies spend $40 billion annually on research, 80% of product launches fail. Think about that. Think about that gap. Think about those odds. It's honestly almost paralyzing. And for many of you in this room, that's what you face every day. You're trying to go out there to understand markets, to understand preferences, trying to predict behavior. And the cool thing is that this room is full of some of the best and brightest product people on the planet. And when you get it right, when you really nail it, that's when organizations build something special. So let's take a look at a company that does an incredible job getting their products right.
Yamaha is the world's largest manufacturer of musical instruments. 1/4 of all the musical instruments made are made by Yamaha. Our goal is to be #1 in every category we serve. We decided that we needed to be much more purposeful in the way that we acquired customer research. For example, when we were working on the montage, I was in Japan in a meeting. We were trying to make some decisions on the user interface. We have to be incredibly precise and very analytical about how we make those decisions. And for something like a montage, that's meant for a person who is going to be playing on a stage, maybe in front of tens of thousands of people. And the difference between having a knob or a fader can make all the difference for the success or failure of that concert. And we got back the response, and the response overwhelmingly was people preferred a fader. So if you take a look at the montage, you'll see that there are faders on that product. And we had a system like Qualtrics to bring that data to our engineers and affect that decision right at the point of product development. So it's very instrumental in the product planning process. But at Yamaha, we use Qualtrics throughout the entire company. It's the difference between success and failure. It's just that simple.
So Yamaha is exceptional at product experience. And it's a good thing, too, because when someone like Yamaha launches a new product, the marketing effort alone is tens of millions of dollars. So it's painful if you get it wrong. But when it comes to product, Yamaha gets it right again and again. They just do a fantastic job of listening to their customers, but they don't stop there. Companies like Yamaha use statistical analysis to make sure that they have conviction about which features to prioritize. They do it right. But a lot of companies don't use statistics for product decisions. Why? Because for a long time, it's just been too painful. As a 22-year-old analyst, I used to use SPSS to do survey data analysis. It was intense, annoying, exhausting, and if I'm being honest, I loved it. I love discovering a story that no one's ever heard before. But I also found it painful. I didn't have time to fully explore the data, and it was built for statisticians 30 years ago, not for me. So I spent the last decade developing a tool to make data analysis delightful. It's really delightful. Because data analysis should be fun. It shouldn't be painful. And I was actually, last year, an attendee at Summit. My co-founder and I talked to Ryan and Jared about integrating this solution into the Qualtrics platform, about infusing the world's most powerful research software with advanced data analysis built for the 21st century. We joined Qualtrics to make that happen. So today, we get to show you what we've made. And we made it to help you do deeper analysis, to get more value out of your data, to do it all 10 times faster than before. And I honestly believe this is really important for everyone to have. So you'll notice that Arvin is pulling up the experience management platform. It's the same place where you manage all your customer, product, brand, and employee experiences. We're in the platform that you know and love. So let's look at a data set from a hotel preparing to open. In the hotel industry, they think of the service they provide as their product. The service is their product. So the question is, what combination of services? Once the project loads, we see that there's a new section called analysis. So let's use that to look at our data. When your data first comes in, you want to know if it's any good. You just want to get a general feel for it, right? So the describe button lets you do that quickly. And we'll start here with satisfaction. A lot happens when you press that describe button. In the background, our new stats engine looks at the variable and says, hey, this is numeric data. It's a 1 to 7 scale. It automatically shows us the kinds of things you'd want to know, things like average, median, and distribution. We can also just select everything and describe the entire data set. It's not rocket science, but it's really, really helpful. This would have saved me so much time 10 years ago. And while we're here, let's scrub the data. So this one's interesting. There probably shouldn't be anyone in the data set who's 120 years old. We'll correct this. So in the past, you'd have to export the data and clean it up elsewhere. Or someone would do that and then send you the results, right? And before you know it, you've got 5 slightly different data sets that live in email or some random folder. But check this out. All we have to do is go to the Data tab, click into the incorrect cell, and clear the value. Right? Yeah, that's great. Whew. So I'm going to take a detour here, and I'm going to show you a brand new feature, variable creation. This also is awesome. So let's create a new variable by bucketing those ages into age ranges. The changes we're going to make here are instantly going to be live throughout the entire platform, from existing reports to dashboards to our new statistical engine. So when we go back to our analysis, we're going to find that the distribution is fixed. There's no more 120. It's just that easy. So you also see, I should say, that there's an age range variable up there, right? It's just freely available. Well, now you can use that variable anywhere in Qualtrics. So let's go next to the relate button. This button tells us about statistical relationships. So let's ask, what's the relationship between satisfaction and loyalty program status? Now, normally, if you'd ask that question, you have to sort of figure out the appropriate statistical analysis for that situation, right? And then you'd have to interpret this output. So, yeah, right? For those of you who have never seen this, this is totally normal, super basic stats output. Okay, so we're going to go back to relate now, and we're going to run this analysis. And then we're going to take a look at this result. So loyalty program member tends to have higher values for check-in satisfaction than loyalty program non-member. That is a statistically driven sentence. So much happens in the background to make that sentence. Every time we click relate, Qualtrics automatically looks at the structure of the data, chooses the appropriate statistical test, runs that test, translates the results into a plain English sentence. You guys are warming my heart. You're warming my heart. But why look at just one relationship, right? So experience gaps can exist anywhere. Let's look at all the relationships. We're now going to look at every individual variable's relationship with satisfaction. Qualtrics puts the strongest, the most interesting relationships at the top. No other platform has this. So, we ran all those relationships in seconds, right? That work, 30 analyses, in other tools, it would take hours. So we just looked across 30 variables, right? But we could also look across 300 or 3,000. And that would take days in other tools. But the truth is, without this tool, you just wouldn't do that. It's just way too much work. So it's not just allowing us to go faster. It's allowing us to ask questions that would otherwise lie unexplored, to find experience gaps that would normally remain hidden in blind spots. It's enabling us to quickly search for a needle in a haystack. So this top result is interesting. Now, remember, we're talking about launching a new hotel here. So reception made me feel special. It's positively correlated with check-in satisfaction. Okay, makes sense? So we'll scroll down and go to sort of the next strongest analyses. There's another one. Amount of time reception spent with me is subtly positively correlated with check-in satisfaction. So that suggests a question. Is there something about the check-in taking a lot of time that's really important? Or is it just that reception taking a lot of time with you makes you feel special? Making you feel special is what really counts. So, what actually matters here, right? It's a really important product question. And we can answer that with the regression button. Now, normally, it takes an expert to run a truly valid regression analysis, but not anymore. So we run this regression, and we quickly get results in plain English. So look at this. Amount of time spent with reception, not significant. Just plain English. We immediately have results that tell us that as long as you feel special, doesn't matter how long the check-in process takes. It's a really important insight. It's a gap we've discovered. It's a better decision we can make. It totally changes how you'd approach building this product. And it's the kind of takeaway you'd only be able to discover with the power of statistical analysis. And now, everyone in this room has that power. With just 4 buttons, too. So, no one else has anything like this. So, if you take the time to try this thing out, and please do, I promise you'll be able to get deeper into your data. You'll find insights and gaps that you just wouldn't have been able to find otherwise. So we built this into product experience first, because there are just so many decisions to make about products, right? There's basically an infinite number of possible design and feature combinations. This tool helps you figure out the right one. And the cool thing about this is that all of what we saw is available across the whole platform. So what you saw here is just the beginning. It's not just for statistics, but for product experience management as a whole. To truly manage the product experience, you need other analytical tools too, for setting feature priorities, optimizing pricing, positioning. We have a very rich roadmap. It has been a dream come true to present to you today. Thank you for your time.